Hey guys, my name is Carla Grace. I am a full-time wildlife artist and I'm going to give you access to a really great section of my tutorial that teaches how to paint the short, compact fur found on the noses of big cats. In this sneak peek, I will start by focusing on the structure and pattern of the hairs, using Procreate to explain my process and the areas that I will focus on. This will help to better understand how the hairs lay on top of each other and the direction before we move on to painting them. I'll guide you through a practical step-by-step format to correct common mistakes, particularly with nose hairs on big cats, which can be tricky but fun to paint with the right understanding of anatomy and proportions. Now I'll show you the full section from the tutorial and I'll see you at the end. So let's start again with a new layer. And what I want to do, we just need to focus on a couple structural lines. The center line. We've got the center line down the face. We also need to focus on, obviously, the edge of the nose, which I'll just do by using 2 dots, the edges of the eyes over here, and then the direction of the fur within these spaces. I'm going to change the color so that it's a bit easier to follow. Make it a blue color. There we are. And I'm just going to zoom in. The key thing to note are these patches here. These are the biggest annoyances, I think, when it comes to painting fur, because they change direction so intensely. Fur goes this way along here, and remember, whatever happens on this side is happening on this side too. So we got to focus on that. So fur goes away there. Let's just make this a bit smaller. Fur goes in and up. So in and up. And then in and down. So right between the tear points, just below them, so right at the end of them, you've got these swirly bits of fur, and the fur goes in, up, in, down. So into the middle and up, into the middle and down. So this point between the eyes at the base of the tear marks is where the fur sort of meets and then changes direction. It can be very frustrating to paint this part of the fur, but once you understand what's happening, it becomes much easier. This section below the swirl, there's another swirl. So I'll get into that in a minute. So these go up, fur goes up, and fur goes out here. So we've got a lot happening that shapes the face, follows the curve of the eyes, into the forehead, into the muscles that make up that forehead. And those, I think those are probably the easiest to notice and easiest to define. It's these subtle bits here below where the fur is longer and where it just enters into the flow of the rest of the head. This is where it gets a bit tricky. I'm going to focus on one side here, the part that's in the light, so that it's a lot easier to notice. We've got the fur that goes down, but we've also got little fur here that curves around. So the direction changes again, and then all of a sudden it shoots off down that way. So we've got fur that just goes crazy. It's a pattern, but it's a crazy pattern, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. And so as this fur, it then corrects itself and it goes, oh no, we're going down the nose now. So it happens sort of broadly. As you get off the nose, it changes more directly, and then it follows. Then that's easier, then that carries on like that. So we've got the shape of the nose to follow here, which goes this way, and then it enters in the side of the face and goes that way. But this part here, what we've got is a ridge of muscle on the nose. So the nose is comprised of many, many different little muscles. And those muscles bunch up, obviously, when you've got a snarl, when you've got any form of expression. The nose is very important in reading an animal's expression. And so when it is relaxed, you've got a buildup of muscle. And this is a very compact amount of muscle. You can see it. This is why I chose this photograph, because it is flat, but it also has a lot of movement in it. So we've got this ridge of fur along here. All right. And then it goes like this. So this muscle here then follows into straight down, and this just goes out and about like that. So there is where the long fur here from the twirly whirlies go into the muscles which form the look of the nose. So it's like this muscular nose, but it's got this densely packed fur and it moves a lot. So there's a lot of movement in the nose, and we need to pay attention to that structure when we're painting. So remember, what you do on one side, you do to the other. Nose fur isn't just straight down. In some animals, it can appear so. For example, if a tiger licks its nose because of the little hooks on their nose, it'll create this very combed look. And then as soon as they wrinkle their nose, they lose that combed look. So sometimes the nose of a big cat can appear very slick. So pay attention to the nose that you're painting. It can vary, but this is a general, broad application of theory here. We've got the fur will tend to move in like the slight ripple effect here into the middle. General direction is down. There is a ridge of fur here where it goes from long to short. By long, I mean longer than the nose hairs on the top. And then the fur gets longer, the direction changes, and it goes up. The main thing that I want you to pay attention to when you paint the fur of big cats are the swirlies here underneath the eye. That can be very frustrating if we get that wrong. And it is very frustrating straight away. Usually you won't be painting such a close-up portrait of an animal, so simple uses of light and dark and flicks of the paintbrush will be enough to create the illusion of this change in direction in fur. When we're painting something as close up as this, we can really focus on each individual marking and create that look in the fur itself. So now that I have established what you need to look out for when I'm painting this little section of this portrait for today's lesson, I will point it out more as I go along, but now you know what to focus on so that when you are looking at your reference photo, you know what you need to understand before you start. So really look at your reference image. Do a little sketch like this if possible, rather than just simply starting and then just being like, oh no, the fur is doing something weird, I don't understand it. Seek to understand your image before you start painting, and that will make the process a lot easier for you going forward. So, without further ado, let's begin painting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful. The full tutorial is applicable for both oil and acrylic paint, and I'll focus mainly on the structure and pattern of the hairs. For the full tutorial, please follow the link in the description. Remember to subscribe to see more tips and art from me, and I'll see you next time.